Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee Books and Rain. I'm Rachel. That means I need coffee. So, we know I have coffee. We always have books. No rain, but it is an absolutely gorgeous day outside. And I am in here recording with you guys instead of laying by the pool, which was very tempting, but needs must when episodes must be released. So I am doing my best to stay on track. Now, for this month of May, I may not post every single day, but I do have quite a few books to get through, as well as a couple of audiobooks I'm going to review that I just listened to kind of in my downtime when I didn't have other audiobooks that I needed to do for NetGalley. So I am going to release those episodes. As of right now, I think I have somewhere around 20 episodes scheduled for this month. It could be a little bit more, so we shall see. But let's dive into the first one. And I'm not on the Goodreads website today just simply because I couldn't find this book. Now I know it's there, but when I typed in the titles, The Curiosities by W.H. Eatons, the Curiosities, like there's a ton of books called The Curiosities or has that word in it. And then it didn't pull up anything with the name. Now, of course, when I go back and look probably tomorrow to write my Goodreads review, it'll probably be there. But I thought I would use the NetGalley website just so I could go ahead and give you guys the information I have from here. So, the publication date for this book is scheduled to be May 7th of 2025. It is considered a children's book, and just one of the funny kind of asides is W.H. Eatons is actually a nom de plume for author-screenwriter Mark Wheaton and his two children, Rowan and Wyatt. And this book sprang from their habit of walking through their neighborhood during the pandemic lockdown, for which they came up with fantastical backstories and adventures for the cats that they came across each day. So I thought that was really cute and just kind of wanted to share that because that was something I don't think I noticed on the Goodreads. Actually, I take that back. I couldn't find it, remember. But it is part of this page for NetGalley. So the description, let's dive in. A whimsical, suspenseful adventure that weaves mystery and magic into a heartfelt exploration of sibling bonds, and that's by the Kirkus Reviews. Siblings Marlo and Zach Metzler are curious about everything. Asteroid-bound space probes, pirate ships in the woods, abandoned hotels hidden in the high mountains. Leo, a neighborhood cat, is curious about nothing. Not pizza slices, not peacock feathers, and not even laser pointers, especially not laser pointers. But when all the neighborhood birds, insects, and even their favorite teacher vanish, the three face a mystery that neither can solve alone. Sorry, my eyes. Racing to find all the missing creatures and stop a possible alien invasion, Marlo, Zach, and Leo must lead a ragtag band of new friends and kitty commandos against zombies, monster cats, and earthquakes to save their town and maybe the world. So, I picked this up because, of course, I do really love a good, middle grade YA adventure. And this one hit me perfectly. It was not very long. I want to say it was only about 200 pages perhaps, something like that. I think I didn't have the audiobook, but it does look like, according to this, that there is an audiobook available that's about 6 hours and 48 minutes. So had I known that, I probably would have dove into that one too. So let's dive in. So we have Marlo, who's the older sister, and Zach, who is the younger brother. And Marlo seems to have a little YouTube channel type of thing where she talks about bees and herbs, and I think there was recipes, things of that nature. So she has a little channel, her own little personality. She's pretty outgoing, pretty fun. And her brother Zach is he's curious about a lot of other things as well. So one of his current kind of fixations is that he wants to find out what cats are, not addicted to, but they're absolutely drawn to. Like, what is something that no cat can resist? And so Zach has realized that there are several cats in the neighborhood. There's Adeline and Delaney, who are twin cats. There's, I think it's Cal Fuzzy, and then there's Leo. And I think Leo's real name is Tulio, but he just goes by Leo, and he is a litter mate of Cal Fuzzy. And so apparently Cal Fuzzy's fluffy. I think he's the fluffy one, and Leo has a weirdly fluffy tail. So, but Cal Fuzzy doesn't leave his roof pretty much. He loves bird watching. Whereas Leo, he likes to wander up and down the street, but he's adamant that he's not curious about anything. So when Zach tries the laser pointer on Leo is like, I'm just not interested. No, this is not something that I want to look at, which is, of course, a very cat personality. So when Leo goes back and talks to the other cats, he's like, man, I was not interested at all. It was so hard not to be, like, interested at all. But he was probably very interested. That's all I can imagine. Well, while Marlo and Zach are there after school one day, they go over to one of their teacher's house. And this particular teacher seems like a really cool person. She lives in, when I say house, it's really a pirate ship, because where she lives, the city ordinance says she couldn't build a house or something. There was like a house or something else that she couldn't build. So what does she do but builds a pirate ship? And I think it's actually like a prop left over from something, but apparently it makes a pretty good house. So she's pretty happy with it. And she has a pet cassowary, which, if I remember correctly, cassowaries are fairly dangerous. But anyway, they go to the house, and it's not just Leo and Marlo. There's quite a few other kids as well, because this teacher has been talking about Termite Terrace. And Termite Terrace is this particular shed that pretty much termites, she has kind of more or less designated this particular shed as the termites' abode. It is their house. So they've been working on this shed for a while. And so this particular day, the shed is scheduled to fall. Everybody's got bets placed of it falling and all this sort of stuff. So there's a group of kids here waiting to see at what time does this shed fall. However, while they're there, an earthquake hits the area, and the tower it falls, and but the teacher, she gets a little nervous because she's also some sort of maybe she really cares about bees, and as well as Marlo, but this particular teacher goes off to some of the beehives that are kept in and near the mountains to go check on the bees. She wants to make sure they didn't get crushed or anything like that, so off she goes. Well, Marlo and Zach go back home, and pretty soon people start realizing that, well, I don't even know if people start realizing, but Leo and Cal Fuzzy, they realize pretty quickly, because they're cats, that the birds have flown. They are gone. The only birds that are really kind of around still are the cassowary and chickens. And the chickens seem very out of sorts. So there's even like the insects have even kind of flown off as well. Something has happened to make them discombobulated, because when they go back to the teacher's pirate ship, the teacher's cassowary is pretty mad, it's pretty upset, and they soon have to help it back to its nest because it can't seem to find it on its own. So something is making the animals, or most animals, confused. The cats don't seem to be affected, and we don't know about dogs because we don't really encounter any dogs. But we do have kind of a little bit of, I don't want to say an army of cats, but there ultimately becomes 5 cats against 1, and then we've got a group of about 4 kids on the other side. Now, the animals ultimately kind of all do join forces, but for the most part, they're kind of working 2 separate sides of the situation. So Marlo and Leo are really concerned about where the teacher's gone. So that's one of their biggest priorities, is trying to figure out where this teacher has gone. And the The cats, on the other hand, are very suspicious of this one particular house, because there's a house kind of around the corner when Leo goes exploring, and usually he doesn't leave his own particular street or neighborhood. However, he needs to go a little further to check on the birds. He runs across like two birds, and they're sitting on a bird bath. So he goes up to them and he tries to check them out. He tries to talk to them a little bit. They won't talk back to him. So he does ultimately realize they're plastic or they're fake. And so it's kind of curious as to why this person would have fake birds on a bird feeder. Well, another thing about this particular house is every single inch of it is some shade of blue. And so that's a little strange as well, because I think it's Mr. Sneezer. There's another cat called Mr. Sneezer, and he is a what I would say is a Dungeons and Dragons cat. He sounds very cool, and I would love to meet Mr. Sneezer. However, once Leo goes to this house, he soon discovers that there's this other cat named Behemoth. And I think he must be a pretty big cat, because Behemoth, his owner, traps Leo and drives Leo out into the woods. Well, funny enough, that particular day, as Leo's out in the woods running for his life, because there are bigger things in the woods that would eat cats. So he's running because he is not a wood cat. He is a hang out in a neighborhood cat. He is not he's not feral. He's fairly benign. And so he does not really know about roughing it in the woods. So this particular day, Marlo and Zach's classes are scheduled to go to a Shakespearean performance. And I forget if they're going to go see like Hamlet or something like that. One of those. And they meet another cat that's there, and he's like a thespian cat, where he is, he's got his little outfit on, and he's, ready for the stage sort of thing. He's the stage cat. Anyway, Zach sees Leo, and something happens while they're all at this particular performance. There seems to be this purplish white, almost like cotton candy fluff in the air. And some of these actors consume it somehow, whether they're drinking water or something, breathe it in, I'm not sure. But the ones who do almost turn zombie-like and almost turn a little feral. I don't know if they would actually eat people, but they do. Like, one of them has a dagger, a little plastic, retractable dagger that is supposed to be used for the play, and this particular actor, who is now under the influence of this mold spore, goes out and tries to stab one of the teachers, but of course it's just like not doing anything. And so I know it's probably not supposed to be funny, but it was kind of funny in a mental picture. But that's kind of where some of the chaos starts, and it really kind of snowballs from there. It was a really fun story, and I don't know if there's going to be more or if we might see a cute little series about this, but I would love to see a cute little series about just antics going on, and maybe these kids and or other kids getting involved with these cats who seem to be all saving the city or even possibly the world from this particular mold spore situation, the blue house lady, and a couple other things as well. Now, there is talks of aliens and earthquakes, and of course I had mentioned zombies, so lots of fun stuff involved in this book. I can absolutely imagine that we could continue antics with this sort of thing going on. But it is funny because it does say it's a mystery thriller, and I'm not really sure if I really put it into a mystery thriller category. I would say it's more along the lines of like The Goonies or Kids Next Door, if you ever watched that cartoon. Things like that. Like, definitely not Scooby-Doo gang, because Scooby-Doo would be a little older. Like, that gang is a little bit older. Those are like high schoolers, and these are like middle schoolers. So wouldn't maybe And it's not as dark as Stranger Things. Uh, like, is Stranger Things esque? Whereas if you rate Stranger Things an R, this is Stranger Things on a PG level. Like, this is bringing it down. This is Disneyfying it or something. But yeah, you have a group of kids, maybe on bikes, and you have a group of cats who both have little storylines. Ultimately, they kind of come together, and we have to stop these evil forces. That's what we've got to do. But I had a lot of fun with it, and I hope that you will consider adding it to your TBR, or maybe you know a kid who would really like this book. I liked it. I thought it was fantastic, and I had tons of fun. So, like I said, it was only about maybe 200 pages. Maybe I might have written it down. 178 pages according to my, like, sometimes I write it on my calendar when I'm trying to remember, like, okay, this book is about this long, so it's only going to take me this amount of time. And so that's kind of one of the ways that I also kind of plan how I'm going to read, because there could be 2 books that are less than 200 pages, and I will read those on like the same day. And then a book that's maybe 400 pages might be saved for a weekend. It's just how I do it. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have not liked and subscribed already, then I certainly hope you will. And with all of that being said, thank you for joining me on this journey. I will see you all on the next page. Have a great one. Bye.